Hey, whoa, take it. Well, you got to save it for the show, okay? We got to start the show by saying, Nick, I did a thing, okay? I did a thing 6 days ago, and it has changed me forever, or at least for the next 12 months. I bought a Gen 1 Raptor.
Do I get a thank you?
I think not only should you get a thank you, but I told Nick on the phone, I'm on a crusade now to save as many Gen 1 Raptors as possible.
Hey, it's a good crusade. You came across some interesting data.
Yes.
Since the podcast started, since I started telling everybody how great Gen 1 Raptor was, search results at a record high, people trying to buy them at a record high. We saw the same thing in the LX470 market since we've come on the air. I'm not saying, I'm just saying.
I'm going to go ahead and let me see. I hope it's probably going to play, but I'm going to try to pause it real quick. So what's the date here? We have the video that was put up, I want to say December. Let me see in the description real quick for listeners that aren't. December 14th. So exactly 2 weeks after we had launched the show.
And now, by the way, that was 2024.
24. Yes. Which makes a lot of sense because I told Nick as well. I'd been tracking the Gen 1 Raptors even before we had started the podcast, just out of sheer interest, along with the Lightnings. People know that I love those two trucks.
But okay. That seems made up. This seems made up. I'm just letting you know. Seems made up.
That's fine. You can believe that. Whatever lets you sleep at night. I will say that it wasn't at the top. The Lightning was still at the top of the list, but we'll get into the practicality of getting something beyond a single cab. So December 14th, 2024. Since then, I'd followed the trucks and then the Google trends of those vehicles as well for content purposes in my head. They have never been at a higher peak for a longer time, other than when the trucks were first new.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people, you can look at our long form and you can say whatever you want to say. Well, the world is a short form content world. We're getting millions upon millions of views every month. Mm-hmm. And magically, the search results of Gen 1 basically coincide with when I started talking about them. And for whatever reason, now I'm wishing I'd have never said a word because now I can't buy a Gen 1.
You can, though. Why can't you buy one?
Hold on. Let's stop. So I'm going to let everybody in. Maybe your friends do the same thing. I'm not saying we invented it, but we have a thing in my friend group. If you like the Houston Astros and you wear a hat to the Houston Astros game, acceptable. If you wear a Houston Astros hat plus a shirt, a jersey attached, we call it double dicking. You can't do that. So it's sort of like all these corny like Corvette 911 guys that are going to get upset right now. If your buddy gets one, it doesn't look right if you get one that's basically the same thing. So could I get like a 2016 Raptor? Probably. I could probably okay that. But Gen 1 now, I'm now full. I can't even say the things that I want to get because someone like you in my friend group is going to go get one, and then I'm not going to be able to get it.
No, I couldn't disagree with you more. This is beyond the dome, no dome conversation, which I got a bunch of messages in. I sent you a couple of them. Dome, team dome, all the way. But we won't get back into that.
We know those guys pee sitting down.
Listen, why can't you get I got a super cab, all right? I want to tell a little bit of the story here, but I got a super cab. I was not in the market for a super cab for a couple of reasons. One being, you almost never see them, and when you do, especially in the low mileage configuration, which I already have the title for the first video, I bought the lowest mileage, they call them scabs, super cabs in the country, like
the anti-Hoovy, the anti-Hoovy title. Yep. By the way, huge Hoovy fans, not meaning like anti-Hoovy, meaning like it's the antithesis of what Hoovy would do.
And I was in the market to do high mileage, but the prices have maintained so strongly that you start dipping into the lower mileage. And I just happen to get lucky. We're gonna do content on it. I'm gonna do content on it. It's gonna do a whole video on it and kind of a deeper explanation. But man, I like because it resembles the pre-runner kind of trophy truck look better. I actually saw it midweek last week. Called on it. There was no picture. The sales guy sends me a quick walk around video, which it's so funny that they started doing that, right? Like, let me get out there and shoot a video for you.
And by the way, I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's awesome.
They go the extra mile. They're talking, while they're doing the video or whatever, like pointing things out to you. This guy did a great job of pointing out some of the external flaws.
By the way, all mechanics, you should be doing that when you're fixing people's car.
I agree. That's a good point. We're almost like wearing a body cam while you're fixing
you're doing an inspection. You take all the guesswork out of it, It'd be like, don't be the police officer that turns the body cam off. Just keep it on.
Don't be Nick if he was a cop.
No, not a cop. Almost
All the
pulled
people thought
somebody
he
out.
was.
I just told you a story. Almost pulled somebody out of a Challenger 2 minutes from my shop this morning.
I told you, the show must go on. Please don't do that.
Yeah. So, look, man, I think that the fact that they can do that technology allows them to just, hey, this isn't even on our site yet, but let me get a video. I think it's fantastic.
So I found it on one of the aggregates, which it's a lesser known aggregate site. And actually, I'm going to reach out to them because it wasn't all the other ones. We've talked about how we'll have Car Gurus, we'll have all the big names kind of listed or bookmarked in our browsers. It hadn't showed up in any of the big ones. And I've used this other one also periodically. It was on there. So anyway, I called, no pictures, sent me the video. And that's when I found that it was a super cab, which I wasn't really looking for. I'd already sold myself on a crew cab because the big, like you want the 4 doors, right?
Yep.
So I was like, man, I appreciate your time. 24 hours later, I'm like, wait, I liked those trucks initially. I just couldn't ever find one in the price point that made sense. I called him back, started working the deal. For 48 hours later or whatever, I had it in the driveway. And that's kind of where we are today. It's actually, the only flaw mechanically was an AC line. There was an AC leak. So I dropped it off at 8 a.m. It's already done. So after the show, I'm going to go pick it up. But dude, I can't tell you how good of an experience I had. It was at a luxury dealership, which when I called you, immediately you're like, how was the experience? What'd you do? And there's no tricks here. I'm going to let Nick maybe tee me up for some questions, but I did everything that you and I have talked about for over a year now.
Okay, so let's start out because evidently you're so excited that your story's all discombobulated. So for all of our listeners, I apologize. He stole my idea, so he's rattled. He's rattled right now.
Okay.
Okay. You call on it.
Yeah.
They do an initial walk around. You kind of think about it, and you go, I want to move forward. Did you order a PPI?
I did. Very next morning.
Okay.
I scheduled it for them to show up at the dealership to do it there.
What was your... And by the way, we have no relation. Let's go ahead and put this out there. A, Rob did not call me and get walked through. I do not know the dealership owners. He does not know the dealership owners. We have no relationship with anybody at the dealership. We have no relationship with the PPI company. There is nothing here that everyone listening can't do.
Yeah.
Correct?
Correct. No smoke and mirrors.
Okay. You order a PPI. How was that experience?
It was incredible. I told the sales guy, which was also great. Hey, I said, I like what I see. I'm going to order a PPI to be up there tomorrow morning, or I'm going to order it for whenever. I called the PPI company. We can be there first thing in the morning. Great. Put him and the sales guy in contact.
What was the cost?
All in all, it was $209 for a 600-point, 2-hour inspection.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Okay, and you get the full report, correct? They just email it,
They email it, and he calls me, and we go line item by line item on everything.
Okay, so PPI is pretty squared away. They show up. The salesman works with the PPI company.
Yep.
There is no, and here's the important part that I always hear, there was no argument with you getting a PPI.
Not one. No, not even. They encouraged it. They're like, yeah, please.
Not what we see on the internet.
Yeah.
From some of you commenters. Again, no relation to any of these people. Keep going. The PPI gets ordered. You run through it. So tell me what this guy tells you about the PPI.
He's like, dude, well, first of all, it's a 2014, and it has 44,000 miles.
Ooh,
incredibly low mileage.
That's low.
Very well taken care of on the inside. I mean, when I do the video, I still haven't touched it with anything. It got dusty because it's fucking dusty out here, but the exterior is a little dirty. Interior, you couldn't tell that it was a 2014. The guy walks me through everything. The only thing it had, again, was the AC wasn't blowing cold. Cool, no big deal. At the end of it, when he goes line by line, this is what I like to say at the end of it. If it were your money, dude, would you hesitate buying this? He was like,
question.
Without question. He goes, I would buy this. He goes, it's not going to win any car shows because the guy, to my understanding, that had it prior, a little bit slightly older gentleman, had traded it in on a luxury, we'll call it SUV, I believe. And he either maybe went off-road once or twice and hit a couple things, meaning there's like a little dent in the bumper and some paint blemishes. Other than that, the thing's perfect. The underneath, you couldn't even tell it's ever been in dirt or mud, which was great.
Texas truck.
So the guy was like, it's not going to win any car shows unless you do a little bit of the blemish work or whatever. But mechanically, the thing is sound. The shocks, everything rode smooth. The transmission's great. So all in all, it was great. And that's when I asked him, would you buy it if you were money? He goes, oh, without question.
What a great feeling.
Yeah, I know, right? It was like, yes.
And this is what we have to say. Even if that PPI had been $500, which it wasn't, it was $250. The thing everybody needs to realize is you're talking about $250 to $500 for a purchase that you're about to make approaching $40,000.
Yeah.
it's peanuts. So the reason we tell people the stories we hear about people saying, if somebody were to say to me, no, give me grief about a PPI, I just wouldn't buy that vehicle.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to play that game. I have yet, and we have a lot of PPIs going every week for different customers' cars. I just don't have anybody that fights them.
Have you, just out of curiosity, and then you were just like,
yes, I've had some private sellers. Yes, dealership wise,
never.
No, not really, because they don't really care.
Yeah, it makes sense for them too to give you the reassurance to buy the car for them.
And by the way, they're not doing the work, so that's why they really don't care. They're like, yeah, man, if the guy shows up, tells us here to do a PPI, like I just let him loose. It's not like they babysit the guy.
Right.
We got to take human nature here and start to use some common sense. If you're not asking them to do the work, why would they really care?
Yeah.
So if you have somebody, and again, I have had a few private sellers get weird about PPIs, we just walk. And I tell them that. I go, bud, this is the biggest red flag of them all. The PPI guy just shows up and does his job. Like they can do it in the backyard for all that those guys care. They just want to make their $250.
Yeah.
Like, and by the way, usually it's like a lot of retired mechanics have got into the PPI world and are working for these companies. They make a little side money. They're not really all that concerned with like, blowing up a deal. It's sort of like home inspection. One of the funniest things is if you get an independent home inspector, and let me give everybody a tip here. I probably wouldn't use the home inspector that your real estate agent or the seller is telling you to use. Just a little, help there. But to act like home inspectors are trying to blow up deals, they don't really care. They're just like, here's my report. My reputation is the report. Like, there really is no reason to fight a PPI. I have had a couple private sellers do it, and we just walk from the deal.
Have you seen the guy that he's famously known for his home inspections? He's like, I can't tell you who the builder is.
Yeah.
That guy is so good, dude.
I love when he just starts rattling things before he gets in the house. He goes, look at this hose bib.
Yep.
And he's like, I'm not even in the house yet.
And I can tell you every other house on this block is going to have the same issue.
100%. Dude, it's great.
Love that people are, when they're really dedicated to their craft like that.
Yeah, agreed. And if you're doing the right thing, you already know somebody's going to find stuff on a home inspection. So why are you worried about it? Because all you got to do is say, I'm not fixing it.
Yeah. Buy
the house or don't. Okay, I'll fix that little thing you told me to fix. I mean, that's all that happens. It's not like people get in a fist fight.
Yeah.
I don't know what there's such a worry about.
It's too many people have watched too many movies where that might happen.
Too many people pulling people out of Challengers. I'm busy.
Do such a thing? Back to the truck. You can still buy a crew cab was my point. I wanted to hear you say that's still a possibility.
No, it's not. No. You've ruined Gen 1 Raptors on this show. You jumped.
I will make Gen 1 Raptors great again.
You jumped the line. I'm the one that popularized them, and I'm going to go ahead and say it. You can see the search results growth right when I started talking about them, just like you can with LX. People can think what they want. I was the rainmaker for Gen 1 Raptors.
I rainmaked the popularity. Oh, my God. I need to put that on a shirt. I rainmaked this.
Hopefully everybody's in on the joke here. Let's hope.
Yeah, and if you're not, welcome to the #1 car-related podcast on planet Earth, where we talk about, obviously, things to be popular.
So, for everybody that knows, I have seen some distant pictures, so I really am kind of going to find out this with everyone else. We've kind of made that on purpose.
Yeah.
What's the decal situation?
So the 2014s it's actually a special edition for those who don't know. It's a SVT SE Raptor. It had very specific, you're going to love this, graphics for this year, which was the final year. And it was, dude, do you know how much this package was?
Oh, it's got to be $2,800, $5,300. I mean,
it was exactly $2,998 or $2,995 for these graphics. Right?
Yeah, and when you got into like 2015, 2016, there were some graphics packages that I ripped off like the day people bought them that were like $5,200.
On what?
On a look, you remember those things on the side that said Raptor real big?
Yeah. Yeah, and the mode ones as well. There was like
like dude, some of those were on the sticker at like 48, 53, 57. And here I am ripping them off customers' cars. They're like, those things are hideous. I'm like, well, why'd you pay for it?
Oh my God, a premium for them too.
Yeah. No. It's always been a thing. Like it's pretty ludicrous. And back then, 2014, talking about 3Gs for some stickers.
Yeah.
That looked like shit in 12 minutes.
Before you option these trucks out back in obviously 10 to 14, 13 and 14, I believe, were the actual refreshes with the HIDs and the ones that I have, which was it was good. It was a good improvement on the interior, the infotainment. That's the first thing I need, dude. I need Sync 3, which gives me CarPlay, which you did the CarPlay upgrade, and I feel like it was probably the best modernization, upgrade you could have done to your LX, right? So I definitely need to do that. But I'm going to take cues from you. Like after I do a video, I'll walk around the best, I bought the lowest mileage Raptor for on the channel, which is going to bring a lot of new eyes, I'm sure. I'm going to take cues from you on how to approach some of these things because I want it to look good. I want to OEM plus this. And I told Nick too on the phone, one of the reasons to do it is one, I've always wanted to buy one of these trucks and own it and experience it. And two, we've talked about what it would require for somebody to get in and out of a vehicle in 12 months, right? That's kind of the goal is like spring to spring. Maybe I want to keep it. Maybe I want to flip it and get into something else.
There's no way you're getting rid of this thing.
That's what my wife said.
Buddy, your VW's going before this thing.
I know it's literally parked in the corner now, but behind both vehicles. I'm like, what am I going to do? But I love that thing too. Like, what am I going to do with it?
This is not leaving in 12 months. That is not happening.
But if it blows the channel up and I get a reason to, hey, maybe we just call up Doug. I got the best Gen 1 Raptor you could put on cars and beds.
Wrong. This Gen 1 Raptor is going nowhere. You've only driven it around a little bit.
I know.
There is no way after you drove this around. I mean, maybe if gas in Texas goes to like $15 a gallon, you'll be like, hey, that's a little much. But I mean, what are you guys paying down there? Like $2?
Yeah, it's like $298 or $290.
I just paid $460.
Oh my God, $460.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I was told when certain people got in office, my life would get better. But I'm still paying $4.60.
That's for the after hour show, right?
Yeah. So here's the whole thing. There's no way you can drive this truck. And this has been why I've been on the Gen 1 Raptor from the beginning. First of all, it's really rare that a first generation is essentially, in my opinion, a better experience than everything that follows it. That doesn't mean the Raptor today, to me, is not a great truck.
Yeah.
There's something about that V8. There's something about how that truck was set up. There's something about it that is very rare in a first generation of any vehicle being built. Okay? It is a very unicorn thing in that way. It's like the first generation was the best generation, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay?
And that is no exaggeration.
Because I've driven them all.
Yeah.
And I would still probably own them all. Like, it's not me saying I couldn't own a Raptor right now.
Wink.
We all could own a Raptor. It's a great truck. There's something special about it. I think this is one of those trucks that for people that understand what they are and what they have, it could be one of those, I own it, I bought it, I paid for it, there's no bills on it. If I've kept it well, this could be one of those things you look back and you go, I've owned it for 25 years.
Yeah, considering the 6.2s can go 500,000 miles if maintained properly.
Yeah, exactly. It is one of those things. It's like a 100 series Land Cruiser. It's like a 200 series. There's just vehicles that you go, it's paid off. I've taken good care of it. Yes, I've bought other things, but this is just now something that's in my life forever.
Yeah. And the Smile. So again, I'm taking the first long trip on it. I have a trip out of town next week. So I'll put some serious mileage on, a couple hundred miles on it in a 24, 40 hour period. But just locally here in the last 4 or 5 days that I've had it, you get in it, dude, just a smile on your face and everyone looks over at it. I mean, right now where the shop that's doing it, they're like, man, this thing is incredibly clean. These trucks are so cool. When I first got it and I first went to a grocery store, there was a fire truck that pulled up behind it, stopped, and just rolled the windows down to look at it. And there was a guy in the back taking pictures of it. Like, that's the coolest thing. It just stops people in their tracks to admire, the truck. And that's one of the reasons why you buy stuff like this. Like, are you going to go Bajaing it? No, probably not. But that's not the idea.
I know somebody's going to comment. I took mine Bajaing. I went to the Baja.
I hope you did. I went to the Baja.
Yeah. Like, I really am happy for you, man. Like, this is one of those special to me. I get everyone likes what they like. I am not a real truck person, even though I own a lot of them for business.
Sure.
I don't think a lot of trucks are worth the money. I don't think a lot of trucks are that impressive. I don't understand why some people even own a truck. It's your money. Obviously, I understand that. But this is one of those trucks I think I could recommend to anybody and say, you're going to love this truck.
Yeah, and the tech, man, let's talk about that. You have a 2003, so even less tech, but honestly, still pretty tech like packed for the year that you got with the
I have night vision, my guy. I got night vision.
I knew you were going to say that. But for 2014, I had always said 1819 kind of peaked for a lot of manufacturers, and I still believe that because this one doesn't have the sync version that has CarPlay and other things, but the heated and cooled seats and all these things that aren't really like what a Raptor needs, but it's awesome that it has it.
Agreed.
And at that price point especially, it's great that they included all those things. But I didn't think a couple years ago or even a year ago, I would go back 4 or 5 years in age. I was like, for sure, I'm going to get something in the early 2000s because great trucks, the Coyote truck-wise, right, and all the tech's going to be great. And I was in a lot of older truck Ford stuff growing up. It has everything you need. I'm actually becoming older.
Do you actually need CarPlay? Because you can hook up Bluetooth.
Yeah, I have it hooked up with the cable anyway, but I don't know. I just like...
So here's where everyone I know is going to disagree with me. I wouldn't mess with that. Because as long as I can hook... Now, this is just me. I think you're going to get CarPlay, okay? Yeah. So if I can hook my phone and listen to what I want to listen to, that's enough tech for me.
I agree with you, and here's where I have to brainwash myself of it. Like, having Waze up constantly is just convenient.
Which is crazy because you grew up in these places.
I know. That's what I was just about to say. I know where to go without having to look at a map. It's just weird that I feel uncomfortable if I can't look over and see the map.
I don't know. You might have to go to a psychiatrist. I mean,
You're
that's
absolutely
crazy.
Right. That's
because
one of many things.
Once you know how to get around Houston, which you travel to quite a bit, once you know how to get around Austin, they're not all that difficult to get around.
No, you're absolutely right. But maybe it's the police reported ahead kind of thing that I'm expecting to hear. Because I'll tell you what,
because you're real big on going 115 on the freeway in Houston when you can only travel 0 miles an hour.
I got to get the SET tuner to get that limiter off there. By the way, you can only go 108. I don't like that.
I'm not really into that.
Yeah, I'm not into that. But you cannot feel like you're going the speed you're going in this thing. It feels like you're smooth, slow, but really you're flying.
Yeah, and that. So now my only real choice in the trucks is I got to get a TRX, which is not enjoyable light to light. Like, you have the most enjoyable truck with insane power for what it is.
Yeah.
That's still enjoyable to drive in traffic.
I agree. You should get a crew cab.
Yeah, I mean, this could be the end of the podcast, Rob.
Oh my God!
But
where it's about to peak.
So I have a crazy question because I've never really been around them. What's it like? The super cab, or no? What do you have? You don't.
It's a super cab.
Yeah, super cab. What kind of room? You know what would be different than the crew cab? I've really only been around the crew cabs. Mm-hmm. You know, that was really all anybody ever bought around me. Yeah. So what's that like? I mean, there were some in history that were horrific, and there were some in history from manufacturers that were good. Where does this one rank?
I think it ranks really good. Like, anybody that's ever been in the back of a crew cab, most of them, we'll just stick to Fords, you could fit a mattress in the back of a Ford crew cab.
Yes.
Right? Like a twin mattress. This one, reduce it about half a foot, maybe a full foot. So it's smaller, but dude, you could fit 3 adults in there, no problem.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's great. I mean, especially something that has 44,000 miles on it.
Dude, I bought my GTI, and I didn't realize it this morning, so I went to go drop it off for the AC work. I bought the GTI with 44,000 miles on it. That might be my sweet spot. Finding something in the 40,000 mile.
I want to find something with 144,000 miles. Look at this 44,000 mile.
That is exactly where I was. There was another one in Central Texas. It was the same color. It was a crew cab, but it had been clapped. And I was like, this is going to be more work.
Let's also talk about something. This kind of shows the softening of the car market we've been talking about. Mm-hmm. Because if I probably rewind 24 to 36 months, this is
Can I guess? Damn, I was going to say, it was like a 48. It was getting close to 50 at the time.
Yeah, this was a $45,000 to $52,000 endeavor.
Yeah.
So for those of you out there that are waiting for like the bottom to fall out and cars to be 50% off, we've kind of told you that's not where we're at. Mm-hmm. So let's all calm ourselves down. But to take something that you basically are $10,000 difference, because you ended up paying what, 36?
35.
Okay, 35. That is a $10,000 savings in 24 months, at least. And some people paid 50 for this thing.
Yes.
Okay, 24 to 36 months ago. Guys, in an under $50,000 truck, that is a collapse. It just doesn't look how everybody wants it to look.
The expectations, for whatever reason, are way higher than they're ever going to get because I think a lot of people don't really expect themselves to buy it if it really reduced in price anyway.
Right, because that means that most people are out of a job. Right? So there's no money exchanging hands anyway, and now you just have everything building up. This is what we've kind of told everybody with the revisionist history of 8, 9, and 10. 2008, 2009, 2000. Oh, I'd have bought a house. You wouldn't have had any money. Everybody was there. Like, nobody was rushing out to buy homes. That's why the collapse happened the way that it happened on both sides. So if this car market were to do what everybody wants it to do, most people wouldn't have the money to go cash in on it, right?
Dude, if you are listening to this and you have any inkling of desire of owning one of these, go search Google Trends and go look at the search volume for Gen 1 Raptor terms, and you'd be lucky to get one now and in a good shape, good price, because unfortunately, I think between Nick and I talking about this and the content we're about to do with this one, even the higher mileage ones are going to go back the other direction in price.
Yeah, this is a pretty flat line. So this is what you would call, this is a flat line buy, which means you bought it at a price that if you put a bunch of miles on it in the next year, tons of miles, 12, 15, 20,000 miles, which would be a lot in a year, 20,000 miles. Sure. You would still expect yourself to be able to get out of it between 30 and 35.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
This is a flat line buy. Now, a lot of people go, well, if you sold it for 30, you lost $5,000. Like, I put 20,000 miles on this thing. I do expect to lose some money. That's a normal car market. I know people are really caught up in what they've seen for the last previous 5 years, but that's kind of gone. I just don't see any way, shape, or form that I don't see you drive this truck for years at a time, because what is the replacement?
Dude, that's a great question that I don't think I can answer, because I don't think that there aren't any new vehicles coming out. Maybe you can also chime in on this, that you're like, I really want this thing, or I would look forward to owning this, that have come out now, and or it's coming out in the future, or they came out even 2 or 3 years ago. So I'm kind of stuck in the past. On the way here back from the shop, I saw an old Mazda Protege Speed, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. But I'm like, that's literally a 20 plus year old car. Why does that excite me more than most new things that are coming out?
I think most enthusiasts feel this way, and I don't think it's about being bitter and being locked into the past either. I just think we all kind of are resigned to the fact that we're kind of in the soulless car era, right? Like, that's what we've been seeing. That doesn't mean the new cars aren't nice. That doesn't mean they don't have some things that are interesting. It's just, if you are a certain type of car buyer, it's going to be very hard for things to impress you, because, again, we talk about tech stacking. That's really what modern car building is.
Yeah.
It's not making a better driving experience. It's all about the tech. None of us can reverse that. It doesn't matter how much we complain online. These car companies are basically admitting that they're pivoting to becoming software companies.
Right.
And that's the decision they've made.
Let's frame it like this, because you've used this example before when talking about the perfect 2-car solution, 3-car solution. But your pair right now, the LX and the M3, what can you remind people what you would be all in on if people were to buy them like today, or even maybe a couple of years ago? Was it like, it was like under 60, 70?
Yeah, so I specifically bought my LX and pulled the trigger because I know I could keep my 2-car solution under $60,000.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm at $59,000 landed into my hands. I was $59,000 landed. And I specifically wanted to show people, because we had started this podcast when I bought my LX, that I got a pretty good 2-car solution for under $60,000. I mean, my M3 only has 44,000 miles on it.
Oh.
Just so everybody who's new here, it was a failed auction, on Bring a Trailer, a phantom buyer, which I'm told never happens, but it happened in an auction I was in. So this guy bid it up to $47,000. Obviously, it was a fake bid. The seller gets connected with me after the auction because I was involved, And I go, hey man, this is what the car's worth. He goes, look, he was buying some land and he's like, I got to get this out. And he had a great car collection. He had, 5, 6, 7 pretty interesting cars. He's like, I got a land deal. They're all going. And he sent me pictures like, want any of these? He was in Panama City Beach. He was an engineer for Mercury Motors.
Okay.
So I think it's a Honda company that does like boat motors.
Yes.
So very knowledgeable guy, very upfront guy. And I said, here's what I'll do, and you got to get them to me. So yeah, my 2-car solution, I am landed in my hands for $59,000 cash.
And that's an incredible duo to which, just because, even our interests, as much as they are similar, they are very different, Nick and I. For my duo now, it would be right at like 50. You could get a Gen 1 Raptor and a Mark 7 GTI, or even Golf R, even at this point, for in the 50 to 55, maybe even sub 50. And it's the most practical, fun duo you could have, especially if the wife has something. So now throw in that, right? If the wife has an SUV or another family car, sedan, whatever, just talking about our 2 cars, because also, dude, there's nothing under 70 really that's like getting me super excited. Do you have to go beyond $100,000 to really start opening the door?
We're talking about, 4Runner, F-150. F-150 are landing invoice to the dealers at $60,000.
Yeah.
And they're pricing them at 64 on some of these packages. It's like my 2-car solution or an F-150.
Same. My 2-car solution or an F-150, a new one.
Or a Silverado, or name the vehicle. Toyota Highlanders are getting up there. Sequoias are what, $20,000+ above my 2-car solution.
A Ram RHO with 3.5.
You're again, if that's what people like and that's what you want to buy, I understand it. For all of you enthusiasts out there that tell us you can't do this, you can't do that, that's not possible. You now have 2 guys with 2-car solutions that's, less than a brand new F-150 landing on a dealership. I just don't think sometimes we step back and go, okay, have we been a little bit over dramatic because 2022 was what 2022 was?
Right.
I think that's where we're at.
That is where we're at, and we're also back to, and we'll always be back to, the amount of legwork that goes into it. I've referenced several times how many dealerships I reached out to for the CX-5 we got. You were on auction sites. You were doing your due diligence for the LX. You ended up finding it on eBay. I'd been looking at Raptors for a long ass time, and then it just so happened that it landed in Central Texas. I wasn't planning to buy one in Texas because there was nothing around. I was planning to go out of state. Again, back to the work that had to be put into doing that, to finding it, and then I won't bore everybody. Maybe we'll talk about it on another episode so we can get to other topics. But the sales process was as direct as we've ever talked about. I didn't know anybody. I didn't say, hey, I do this content. Hey, I have this podcast. Hey, I know these people. It wasn't none of that. It was just human contact in a way that should be conducted. And I got the outcome that I wanted, essentially.
With no issue.
No issue.
No extras in the finance office.
Nothing.
No pushy sales.
Nope.
And you were in and out in, what, an hour?
Yeah, it was a little longer just because it was late in the day, but it could have easily been 30 minutes had another person. Funny enough, have you been in this or known somebody where you're waiting for somebody in finance and the only reason it's taking longer is because all of a sudden the person in there wants to be a dickhead with the finance guy?
Absolutely.
Dude, I won't say what kind of person was in the finance department, but they were being really difficult with the person.
Yeah, and there's so many people that think we're talking about unique experiences. You weren't buying some kind of special edition car or truck. You were just buying the truck you wanted that was special to you. That dealership acknowledged, hey, we don't really like sitting on these vehicles. This isn't really our wheelhouse. Let's come in here. Let's get a deal done. They gave you no issue with the PPI. They gave you no issue in the finance office. There were no issues. So before everyone says there's issues, sometimes we have to look at how we are handling things. Like you said, not doing more legwork, not really searching out what you want. You were very certain as what you would take and what you wouldn't. This is the vehicle I'm looking for. This is what I'm interested in. You had a PPI done, no headache, very thorough. You got walked through the truck without even having to be there. You didn't inspect the vehicle. They did. Then you went, looked it over a couple things, and you got the deal that you wanted. I have said since we got on this podcast, Anybody selling you secrets of how to handle a dealership is trying to take your money. There's no secrets. There is no secrets. And that doesn't mean I'm bashing people that do that as content or do that as their business. But Rob, you had no connections, no anything. You walked in a dealership. Everybody treated you with respect. You treated them with respect. You got the deal you wanted. They got the deal they wanted. No feelings hurt, no arguments, no yelling, no screaming, no haggling. And what is there to talk about?
Let me give you 2 more points that might completely solidify people saying that this is somehow smoke and mirrors. The original price was $2,000 more than I got it for. So I actually got them down on the price only because of my knowledge of the Fox shocks. I said, look, it's coming up to the point where, depending on how it was driven, they need to be rebuilt or replaced. I said, do this for me if you don't mind. This is exactly what I said. If you don't mind, tell your store manager that this is the case, and for him to go look it up and look at the scheduled maintenance or suggested maintenance schedule for those shocks, and let me know what he says. I was willing to work with anything, anywhere in the middle of what the cost was, which is $2,000 to rebuild and upwards of $3,000+ to replace them. He came back and said, this is what we have left in it. We'll give it all to you if you want to come ahead and make the deal, which was more than I expected for them to take off of their listing price. That was 1. 2 was the AC issue. It was cold that morning, so the PPI only dropped the ball on this. They didn't see that it was blowing warm because it was cold outside.
Yeah.
So when it was warm in the day and I came back and said, hey guys, look, check this out. They said, they wrote me we owe you. Go fix it. We're going to reimburse you on top of that. I didn't even tell you that part. I forgot.
People
couldn't have asked.
People want to say a lot of things. When you know what you're talking about, you've done your research, you know the scheduled maintenance, you say, hey, this is the situation it's in. The PPI company missed something. You said, hey, you guys missed this. They're like, yeah, it's our bad. We'll make it right. I don't know, guys. I don't know how many times I can say it. There's no secrets to this whole thing. It's being knowledgeable about what you're trying to do and not like, I can't believe you missed the AC. Hey, guys, you missed the AC. Just want to let you know. Oh, man, that's our bad. Hey,
I gave him the option. I said, because I Ubered an hour there. I said, no worries. You guys can, because it was Saturday. I said, you guys can take care of it on Monday. I'll Uber back. No big deal. They felt so bad. They're like, dude, we don't want you to Uber back. And, give me a second. Sales guy goes back to the manager. Just take it, dude. Have it fixed. Have it looked at. Bring it back. We'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. But we don't want you to leave without the truck today. I said, cool. Works for me.
I don't know, man. This is why I get very saddened by some of the comments we see because I go,
a little disheartening.
Yeah, you go, this isn't how it goes if you just have a little bit of, I think it all starts with you doing your homework and then being able to say, hey, did you guys know? I want to let you know, here's the maintenance schedule. We're coming up on this. Or, hey, the AC's not blowing cold. How do we rectify this? I mean, there's some of these dealerships and PPI companies that if something's missed and it's $1,000 to fix this AC problem, you just go, just get the $1,000 off the car and I'll have it fixed. Yeah. I don't care about having the shit fixed. But there's people that are going to blow a gasket. And the minute you blow the gasket, all of these people want to be like, F you, man. Why are you blowing a gasket about just a human error?
Yeah.
Like, relax. Nobody was trying to miss this. This wasn't somebody trying to get over on you. It's also seeing it through that lens that you're just dealing with other human beings. They're going to miss shit. They're going to make a mistake.
And when they're at good stores, Nick made a really good point. When I told him, when I found out a lot of these people had been there a long time, he was like, do you think if it was a shitty establishment, these people would be there a decade plus?
No, that's just no chance. And so when you start talking to these people that are like, I've been here 8 years, I've been here 14 years, I've been here 19 years. If the owner of that place was a bad human being, the turnover would be insane because it is insane at some of these stores. But guys, you can feel that walking in. You're like, why is everybody acting so? You just leave. You just go, this isn't the right vibe. That's why I always tell guys, I'm a vibe guy. You can go in and see a good mechanic shop if you've been around cars long enough. You don't even have to know anything about fixing the car. You just go, what the hell's off about this place? Right?
Yeah.
Like you walk in that dealership, you're like, there's nothing off about this place. I'm good.
Yeah.
This is going to work out just fine. But you weren't argumentative.
Yeah.
It's just, and you had points that could have turned into arguments.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't approach it to start an argument, which I think becomes very important to get what you want in the end.
Yeah, and I got to say, unlike what we've talked about with Toyota dealerships, how they're always kind of dark and warm, they had snacks and coffee and stuff, and I'm like, oh, this feels great. Guys,
Yeah.
are talking about video games.
What kind of snacks you got over there?
Yeah,
You know?
lattes, espressos. We got all kinds of stuff.
Matter of fact, I don't even want to leave here in an hour.
Yeah, right. Can I just stay till you guys close?
Yeah, I don't want to have to DoorDash something when I get home. Can I get that food over there?
Dude, by the way, I never DoorDash food. I cannot stand it.
I've actually never done it.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
For those people that do, I just have never done it.
You're more brave than I am. I'll just say that.
Yeah, agreed.
All right. Well, we spent a good. I hope people are enjoying this conversation because we're going to do a lot of content around this. And back to put a pin in it, I'm going to take your lead on how to address some of the paint issues, how to address some of the. The first thing I want to do personally is the interior because Revive, as I've always said, is my favorite product. It is so clean, but it does smell like 2014.
Yeah, got to freshen that up.
Yeah, can I get rid of it? Will Revive really help? Because I haven't had a vehicle this old in a while.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You can even use it on the carpet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do have the carpet system. Does that?
Yeah, you can do that. I mean, I would use our enzyme product, spray it on all the carpets, let it soak in, let it you think of it like it kind of is a live product that eats bacteria. So anything that people would see it as a deodorizer, but it's not that. It just, it's a true, enzyme for those that have never used an enzyme is literally like eating away the bacteria and the stains that it's supposed to attack. So I would probably throw enzyme because you got the rubber mats in there, right?
Yeah, which look brand new and the carpets look like they've never been stepped on.
Yeah, so just take those out and spray some enzyme down and just give it a light scrub, dry it up, and you'll start to smell. And then once you go through with Revive, it'll smell like a brand new car. That's the reason the whole system is done.
Right. Hypercleanstore.com for everybody else wondering what I'm talking about here. Also with the coating of it, this ruby red, and it's funny because someone's going to pull a clip from the back, from the past where I'd never buy a red car unless it's a Lightning. I don't consider ruby dark reds as reds. They're a special kind of red.
It looks good.
Looks great.
Ford has always done a good job with that specific red.
So if you have a red or any car that has some sort of a blemish that needs to get fixed, like a scratch or a light surface, whatever, how do you fix that before coating it, or what are your thoughts on?
Well, some of it's not fixable, right? If a scratch is deep enough, it's not fixable. You can kind of sand the edges down so it's less noticeable. Kind of take the white out of it if people are kind of like, wondering what I'm talking about. But, if it's fixable, you fix it. But there are scratches that if they get down to primer or, if they basically get through the base coat and the clear coat, you're talking about being pretty close to the metal, that's not fixable. You have to go to a body shop.
Something that a Velo one-step would be good to address?
Yes, that's what I would do. On an older car, just a thorough one-step would be exactly what I'd be looking for.
I'd be interested in how many more people have become like fans or interested in one-steps where they feel like they could do it themselves.
Yeah, everybody should feel like they can.
Yeah,
everybody should feel like they can. There's nothing special about machines are safer than they've ever been. They're better than they've ever been. Everybody should feel comfortable trying stuff on their own car in that world. Yeah, for no question.
All right. Well, a lot of the stuff I'm going to be doing in corporation or partnership with other people so that I can film the processes and talk to them as they do stuff. Because we didn't start this channel as a build channel. We're not wrenches per se, but we are people persons, and we like cars. So we're trying to combine all the things. And with that said, we're going to have our first guest show probably launch late February, early March, and then a string of cool guests to come along, after that. And dude, you have, again, a bunch of cool stuff coming up at VR that you're going to introduce. But let me ask you about a couple of things while we're on the subject. I had some notes here. I've seen PPF really get dissed in the news here lately, in the car news, I want to say. I'm sure you've got a lot of personal experience on this.
Yeah, this is my world. There's so much misunderstanding about paint protection film. First of all, it's been around. It goes all the way back to like the Vietnam War type stuff. I mean, that's how long the technology's been around. When I first got into the business, I was messing around with 3M PPF, very regularly. Was definitely a lot worse than what it is today. You're 20 plus years away from that. There's just a lot of misconceptions. And like a lot of things, for those that think we are somehow always protecting dealerships are sort of ground zero for people getting a bad taste in their mouth about aftermarket products. I mean, there's a lot of people that have had bad lifts done on trucks that they got from a dealership because the dealership skimped out. They lifted the truck to sell, a big lifted truck. It's not done well. The leveling kit's not done well. And then people start to bitch about lift kits. And you go, no, they bought the wrong one. They went to the wrong shop. And so people get the bad taste in their mouth, which is why we always say, buy 0 aftermarket things from a dealership. So for anybody that says we don't say the bad of a dealership, that's the bad. The aftermarket stuff that they sell is garbage. It'll always be garbage. They're not in that business. They're in the distribution of car business. Get a car, sell a car. Everything else, they're pretty mediocre at, right? That's just what it is, especially when it comes to aftermarket stuff. Having wheel repairs done, they're blotchy, they're terrible. It's just not good. And so when we look at all of this, I think a lot of the PPF hatred is not understanding that when you're at a dealership and you get paint protection film, you never get full coverage PPF. So you get the half strips on the hood, the quarter strips on the hood. Horrible idea. It's too easy to just do the whole hood. Okay? But why do they do it? Because it's cheap for them. It's cheap for the companies they contract to. They can charge you a premium. It's all about cutting a cost. Second to that, the PPF being put on at dealerships is not the PPF that can be put on at my shop. It is a lower grade, it's a thinner material, and it is from major manufacturers, but a lot of times it's reject film. It's film that they wouldn't sell to my shop, but they will put it on dealership cars. It's called B-grade film.
And where I've been seeing it is, maybe because my feeds are more filled with cars that I have interest in, which are older. You have people that buy older Corvettes, that buy older Mustangs, even Porsches and BMWs, and they have a bad experience when they try to apply it, 1, but 2, when they remove it. And that's when they're like, shit, like I should have listened. Like I shouldn't have put this on an older car. Should you put it on an older car?
You get into some very weird aspects here. We're very particular in my business about what we'll put PPF on. There are even cars that I would venture to tell people it's not worth it. The negative, because let's just say you have an old vintage Ferrari. So one of the things I got into an argument about probably 2 years ago, 3 years ago now, I got approached about a Ferrari F40 from a collector. And he's like, I want this whole thing PPF'd. And I go, bad idea. Don't do that. It's got original paint. Don't do that. Now, a very highly reputable shop in the Midwest put the PPF on. I know all the players in this. I know that shop. Let's just say that shop may have even learned from me back in the day. Okay? Maybe that's when they got their start. It's a terrible idea on a car like that. Now, if that F40 goes to repaint and they have to repaint the whole car, probably not a bad idea to just go ahead and slap some PPF on when the paint job's done, because now you got a perfect paint job, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And the value's already out of the original paint, right? It's not there anymore. So it's all case by case. And if you have a valuable car that has original paint from that is going to be valuable, is appreciating, PPF is probably should be avoided. On your Toyota Tundra that you just bought, PPF should not be avoided. Now, whether PPF fits you and how you care for your cars and how you want your cars to look, and that's an important thing to you, that becomes a personal issue. But people just mix and match, and you and I were talking about this. We've gotten into this place where people speak in absolutes about everything.
Right.
And I just showed you that PPF's not an absolute thing. There's a lot of people that shouldn't have PPF on their car because they don't take care of their car correctly. Doesn't fit you. It's going to be problematic. There's a whole host of other people that PPF is a perfect fit. I have PPF on my family hauler. Glad I have it because it's getting torn to shreds by my kids. And I mean, I would be removing scratches all the time. The PPF is going to come off at some point, and there is a chance I could pull paint. Like I took that risk. But for what it's provided so far, I would have already been in some repaint situations with my 2 kids.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Right? And so it is what it is.
When you say people that don't maintain their cars properly with it, do you just mean on the cleaning portion?
Yeah, you can't go to a brush car wash. You probably should not go to a high pressure touchless wash because it could peel edges up. There's just things you got to be aware of. There's a lot of videos going around about guys pulling paint on very expensive cars. When I watch those videos, the people pulling the PPF don't know how to pull it off. They had the complete wrong technique.
That'll do it.
There's actually a way to pull PPF. So everybody knows, if you watch somebody pull PPF and they're trying to peel it back like a sticker, that's a surefire way to turn that channel off. You pull the PPF towards you while using heat in front of where you're pulling. So you grab the piece by, like in a fist, and you pull it towards your body. You don't try to peel it like a sticker. So when I see people pull paint and they go, I'm going to show you how to remove PPF. And then I see that, I go, that looks staged or stupidity. I don't know which one.
That's a good rule of thumb for most things you're trying to remove with adhesive, is just pulling it towards you, not up like a sticker.
I would think that is common sense, yes. It's not. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we all have to say some of these things out loud, is that, yes, I've pulled paint on. Tesla was the worst. So when Tesla was painting cars outside, for anybody that didn't know that was going on back in the day, I could put a piece of PPF on the front bumper that wasn't even locked down yet. And it started to tack up a little bit, like started to grab because I hadn't got to that spot yet. I'd go to pull it off, and they just start pulling chunks of paint.
It was interesting. I was around somewhat in that time how popular those cars were for PPF, like immediately.
Yep.
And they were so easy to apply, and the margins must have been great for, I guess, people applying them to those cars.
They were great at one point, and then it became, you could do a full front. Just so everybody knows, a full front is mirrors forward on the car. There's people that have full fronts done by lunchtime.
Yeah.
A C8 Corvette, you're not getting a full front done before lunchtime, right? Like it's a process. There's a lot of pieces.
Yeah.
Okay, on that front bumper. Lamborghini Urus, another one. A lot of pieces. You have to be honest with yourself as a consumer. Are you going to take care of the car the way you have to? Because PPF has all kinds of edges. It doesn't matter how much you tuck everything, that can start to peel up if you go to use a brushed wash, or you go and use a high pressure touchless wash that's spraying all this PSI at different angles. So you got to be aware. But yes, there are things that we refuse to put PPF on because there's just too much liability with that car being but I've PPF'd 2 Carrera GTs.
Ooh.
Full body. Actually, I did one completely engine out. They just pulled the engine out of the Carrera GT.
Original paint and everything?
Yes, original everything.
Wow.
The guy was told, signed a waiver, tons of money, had a Diablo, had an LFA,
nice.
This kind of guy, right? Just, I want what I want. The engine was out of his Carrera GT being serviced, and we PPF'd everything, including down into the engine bay.
Wow, that's cool. I got a couple of interesting stories here as we wrap up the back half of the show here. Have you seen the video of Ferrari's new interior?
Why are you going to make me mad, man? We've had a good show.
We have had a great show.
We've had a great show.
Hey, with no volume here, but they revealed their new is it loose interior.
I don't care.
Hey, look, it's straight out of F-Zero.
My question is, wouldn't it be Luce?
Is it Luce?
I don't know. You speak 2 languages.
This is true. But I'm forgetting.
I don't know what it is.
I'm forgetting more and more of my other language. I only know American.
Yeah. Well, now you got a Raptor. You definitely only speak American.
Just wait for my
I only speak American. I don't even speak English. I speak American.
Just wait for my red, white, and blue graphics. You're gonna love them.
I'm gonna give this some fairness. This isn't the most hideous thing I've ever seen.
No, but as it says, the designer of the iPhone, right? Big part of this, centered, tactile, driver focused, but still looks like a car that was supposed to be made into an iPhone.
I know. And you know why they say that? Because of the steering wheel. Nothing else is how it was supposed to be designed. They're like, but we just put this old kind of vintage looking steering wheel. So, it's vintage.
That looks like an Apple Watch.
Yeah.
The back looked like your Apple Watch.
I don't know, man. We are where we are. To be the guys that continue to get off my lawn, it's really not that fun to be that guy. It's just not that, for me, as a person that can go get into a F430 whenever he wants, I mean, even this was the number one thing about SF90 that was the first thing everybody talked about that got in one that could afford one. They're like, what's up with this interior? It just didn't feel Ferrari. And I get it. We're in a new age. It's this new system. It's this new, sort of thing that we're doing. But part of me goes, everything with SF90, the fact that it's lost, 40 to 50% of its value, it just kind of shows that people aren't buying those cars to be in some kind of like tech show like you're at the Sphere. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I know that they feel they have to do these things, but I'm not sure they do.
It's funny you say that because I was thinking there was a couple of videos. I've watched so much stuff on the Gentleman Raptor, but like reviews in general. If we're just talking about review channels and hey, there's a ton of reviewers, no shots at anybody specifically, but there's certain things that over the last decade we've seen constantly through every channel where it is your job to be like the roast master of car reviews, where you have to nitpick at every little thing that's supposed to make a car just terrible and unownable, right? For the Raptor, it was like, because the super cabs it's the door and a half, there's less rigidity in it, right? So some people would point out the way that the doors might shake a little bit more when you're closing it versus the four. Okay, makes sense because there's nothing there in the middle. But the way, like, to make a 5 or 10 minute section of your video about how awful it is, most people do not care about that. Like, there's too much focus and emphasis on things that really don't matter to the consumer, and it's just kind of been like an epidemic of just car reviews in general. Like, all right, I do like some of the things that they point out, but most of the things really aren't like on the people's mind when they're buying a car.
I think that's kind of happened. I've been watching some stuff on the R2 from Rivian, which, by the way, they did the most insane camouflage of these things because it's just
I didn't see it.
It's not camouflage. It's just like stickers. Like, so they even went further ridiculous. And a lot of people that are reviewing the Rivian R2, which is smart of Rivian, are very tech-focused people. Okay. Like, did anybody think you guys didn't have the tech figured out? Like, how many of you people get in cars now and go, they just don't have the tech figured out? It's like, look, man, we're kind of past that. Not with every car, but with 90+% of cars, you go, they got the tech figured out. It's just now if I like the interface, if I like the user experience, that stuff's just personal. But they have the tech figured out. They know how to get your phone connected. They know how to make the screen look at least somewhat understandable. And here we are driving the Rivian R2 that's, proposed to be somewhere around $45,000, which I think that's probably not going to happen.
Wow.
And I hope it does. I'm rooting that on. That'd be a great price point. But the ones you want, I'm guessing, are going to be, 50 to 58, somewhere in there. And you're kind of looking at this thing and you're going, I never wondered if Rivian had that shit figured out. Like, I wasn't concerned that they didn't have the tech figured out. It's a tech company.
Yeah, I think we're in an interesting part of car buying research where the people that want to buy the cars that are going to be slightly better and better tech stacked are just going to seek that out. And then the other half are really going to be going the other direction. Like, there is a cutoff point, I think, to where we all know when enough tech was enough tech, and you're going to be shopping in those years for the foreseeable future. And then the rest of it is like, what is it? CES. Like, everyone's just going to be looking like who has the most knowledge on the consumer electronics.
So I have a weird question. Rivian puts out multiple R2s, but none of them have full self-driving enabled, from my understanding. I mean, the biggest reviewer of these types of cars on his channel goes, I can't test full self-driving. Do you find that strange? I'm not saying that's all of them, but this specific guy that has 1.5 million subscribers, I think would have gotten the best one. I don't think Rivian's dumb enough to give him the one that's crappy.
The base model.
Yeah, which he didn't get the base model. I kind of just figured they'd be allowed to test the full self-driving, didn't you?
I've thought the opposite, that full self-driving will be for fleets and other uses. The consumer is going to be less and less.
But I'm saying for the reviewers, didn't you think they'd be able to show that off?
Yeah, that makes sense. But if they're not planning on offering it in the large scale, like, why even hint at
But the button was in there.
Oh, that makes it a whole. Yeah, that's different. That's strange.
Yeah, it was strange. I was just like, because I did watch it. I'm interested in what Rivian's doing. Doesn't mean I'm like
great.
Doesn't mean like I'm out there telling you guys to go buy one. I'm just saying I find the content interesting. I like the 2 knobs that they have on the steering wheel because their steering wheel is not cluttered. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Then they get to the end of the review, and they're like, here's the button for full self-driving, but it's not enabled. And I'm like, isn't this what we're all doing here?
What are we doing?
I found it strange. I'm sure there's a reason. Let me be clear. I'm sure there's a regulatory reason or some. I'm not judging any of that.
Yeah.
Very strange for the thing that everybody's the most excited about with these types of vehicles to be like, we can't show that.
Well, you know what's the best part of the 2014 Ford interior is the volume knob that's this size.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I love that, dude.
Yeah. You won't miss it. Let me tell you something.
Absolutely.
You'll know exactly where it's at. You'll never miss it. It works.
Yep.
Didn't need to be rethought. Am I wrong?
No, absolutely not. And it's this, if you're watching, it's the size of this timer that I have on my desk because why wouldn't it be? It's the best part of the interior.
Yeah. You're like, hey, where's the volume? You know, your passenger's going to know where the volume knob is.
Good. I'm still going to think about what you said about not needing CarPlay. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Why don't you be a man and raw dog this thing?
Well, relax. This is a PG show, all right? This is PG friendly. Kids are getting picked up from school right now. They're asking, Mommy, what does that mean?
Yeah, don't say that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, kids.
Miss Nicole's got to...
My fault.
Miss Nicole's going to have to answer some questions right now with the kids in the back of the Porsche.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. We are going to work on content for both the LX and now the Ranger. I keep thinking Ranger Raptor, dude.
Yeah, I know, because you weren't really in this mindset till you met me. So here we go.
The Gen 1 Raptor, the lowest mileage Raptor in the country, by the way. It's such a good time. I'm going to start the video by being like, look, I clickbaited you, but also it's true, all right?
Yeah.
We have to use all of the tools that we know the YouTubers have been using for 15 years now just to get
You got to do
in.
the YouTuber face. This is the requirement. Since you stole my idea,
okay.
I am requiring the thumbnail to be YouTube creator face.
Macaulay Culkin face.
100%. If that's not on there, I'm not okay in it.
Well, I'll have you know that I have some great AI tools that might help me do that without actually having to do that.
And that is not accepted either. We are going to hire a photographer.
You'll never know.
I'm going to be like, hey, I want to know the origin of these files.
It's so real, you'll never know.
Claude is so good.
Dude, everything these days are so good. There was a video that just came out before we hopped on. I forget what it's called, like Scene 2.0 or something like that.
Was it the guy talking to that green button and the green button was like changing his cadence when he was talking back to the guy?
No, it was actually Brad Pitt fighting Tom Cruise saying, you saved Mr. Somebody who will remain nameless, but there's files on this guy apparently going out.
That's funny.
And you could not tell. And then the video continues and it's like, I'm not even going to say it. There were some people that are no longer with us that were in this video that you could not tell was AI. And I'm like, this is trouble.
Yeah,
this is trouble.
Folks,
AI slop's going to go to a whole new level.
And that's why you can't put more tech. More tech you put in your Gen 1 Raptor, somebody's listening, somebody's doing this. Just letting you know.
Yeah.
You might just have to plug the phone in.
Okay, what if I told you this, and we'll end on this. What if when I plug the phone in, the USB port might not be completely like reliable and it drops from time to time?
I think you got to live with it.
All right.
Got to live with
it. That's fine. That's fair.
You know, we're not trying to give... China is not going to spy on our Gen 1 Raptors.
Not mine. That's for sure.
Just start... I don't know for anybody that watched The Sopranos when he bought that Escalade and ripped out the GPS. He's like, I'm not going to have these... you're not going to be tracking me.
Breaking our phones. Give me a burner phone. All right. Hypercleanstore.com is where I'm going to get all of my goodies to take care of the Raptor and do some content with. Do you have anything that you want to mention to the audience that you're working on that you might want to allude to and leave them with a cliffhanger? Because there's so much stuff you already want to do.
Well, we have a project done on the LX.
Yes.
And you guys will be seeing that in the coming weeks. And that is probably the best upgrade to it I could have done for daily experience. Like something that you experience every day. Let me help all you guys out. It's not suspension and things like that. That's not done yet. But this was something I underestimated, that it would make my life better, rolling around in that vehicle. So yeah, I'm really excited.
I better see your excitement in those videos when you're making them, the way you're putting me on the spot. Yeah, get super excited. Super excited. All right, everybody. Leave us a review on Apple if you haven't, and Spotify, 5 stars. Leave a review, give us a 5 stars, whatever. And we'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.